With us this morning we have Sally, who's a real salty dog. You've been brought up on the water literally, haven't you?
Yeah.
What age were you when you were taken out for the first time?
I can't remember, I was very small there.
Were you?
Yeah, I can't actually remember when it was.
I mean, did you have any option here? Not really.
Not really, no.
So you've actually had quite an exciting time out on the water.
I have, yeah. I'm very fortunate.
You are. You really, really are. And your first big cruise you did was when you crossed the ocean, or had you done anything coastal?
Yeah, the first big trip was when I did a delivery from Cape Town to the UK when I was about 19.
Oh yes. You went as a school teacher, didn't you?
No.
It was supposed to be the home school.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And they left the books at home, folks. So this was. I don't know whose plan that was, but anyway. The books didn't make it to the UK, did they?
No.
No. Well, I remember that.
Yeah. It was the first
and then you came back to Knysna, and that's when you really got stuck into the sailing. Yeah. So tell us about it. Tell us about your first trip across the ocean.
Okay. When I was about 22, I met Richard, and he just bought a 39-foot Vero boat, Hartley design, and we got involved, and we spent the next 2 years fixing the boat up, planning on a big sailing trip.
Got everybody involved.
As you remember.
Yes.
And then we headed off across the ocean, spent a lot of time in the Caribbean and America.
What I have to tell you folks is that Sally is almost like a daughter to us, and we were on the heads when she and Richard sailed out, and the weather was a little bit dodgy, but it was time to go, so they were going to go. And we were standing up at the heads, and the heads weren't too kind that day.
No.
And Sally shouted across to my husband, "John, what should we do?" And he said, "You're on your own, babe."
That's it.
Let's go. That was the start of it,
That was the start of it,
Yeah.
7 years later, we eventually sold the boat. So.
And your most memorable places you went to?
Knysna. It's a very tricky question. I mean, everywhere's so unique.
Yeah.
But since Lynne was one of my favorites, we actually ended up spending 6 months there.
6 months? I didn't know you were allowed to spend 6 months there.
Well, yeah. I've got a British passport.
Oh, that helps. You couldn't have afforded to stay there otherwise.
Yeah. From there we actually went up to Ascension Island, and spent a couple of weeks there, but it was too rough, so we decided just
Yes,
to
I
carry
believe it's
on.
quite something getting off your dinghy and going ashore.
Yeah, I know. It's very interesting because they have these big rollers that come through every now and again. And
You've just got to time it.
yeah, you've got to come ashore, and then someone's got to come on the dock in the dinghy. The other person's got to grab this rope and hang onto the dock, swing themselves
Tarzan
over.
and Jane.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
And you've got to get your timing right because otherwise the wave goes down and
you
the
sort of,
dinghy's 6 foot down and you're hanging in midair.
Oh, I mean, there must be some stories from that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Trying to get your groceries across is always quite interesting.
Well, didn't they tell you don't shop on? Hey, didn't they tell you that?
Didn't have a choice.
No. And then you sailed off to Brazil.
Yeah, and then we sailed across to Brazil. Spent a couple of months in Brazil doing a bit of travelling around, and then headed from there up to French Guiana, and then spent a few weeks there, and then up to Trinidad and Tobago, which we just loved.
But you went to Devil's Island,
That's
didn't
correct,
you?
yeah.
And that was one of the highlights of your trip.
That's fascinating, very interesting.
So the two of you set off from here. I mean, you weren't experienced sailors,
not
were
really,
you?
no.
So you learnt a lot on the way.
It's the best way to learn.
Absolutely. And you got there safely, which is
another thing.
absolutely wonderful. And then you sort of changed career a bit and you got onto the big ships. Well, tell us a little bit about that, because that's different.
Yeah, I first of all got involved in that when we were in the Caribbean just to make some money. I'd get day work on big boats.
No, tell us what the big boats are, because the folks don't know what the big boats are.
The big boats are those huge, big motor yachts owned by very rich people that you see in the magazines where the film stars go and hang around the Caribbean.
Well, we had Lady Michelle here.
That's
so
correct, yeah.
Sort of
that's right, that kind of thing.
And then what were you, the hostess? What did you do?
Yeah, just day work. You do varnishing, cleaning,
so it's not all glam, hey?
No, not all. There's a lot of hard work involved.
So what was the best of those boats you worked on? What did you do? What did you do? Did you not sort of get upgraded so that,
Well, when I first started, I was just doing day work just to earn money while I was sailing. But when we sold the boat, then I got a full-time job on a boat in Mexico. And last year I came back from that job, so I was the second stewardess, and then I was the chief stewardess on that boat.
And what does that entail?
Entails just keeping that boat spick and span. I mean, it's 100% perfectly clean
All the time.
All the time.
It's
And
like
then
toothbrush stuff.
earbuds.
Earbud
You go
stuff,
around with
oh my
earbuds
word.
and white cotton gloves and
Really?
that kind of thing, yeah. So.
Really?
And then also just looking after the owners or the guests that come on board, different
Do they
money
pay you
involved.
well?
You get paid extremely well.
So it's worth all the
Yeah.
nitty-gritty and the,
But also a lot of fun. You had a lot of fun involved. So even though it's hard, I mean, it is hard work,
yeah.
but there's also a lot of playing involved. So.
And what was the furthest you went on those boats, or did you just stick around in the Caribbean?
Well, on that boat, I joined the boat in San Diego, which
Okay.
is on the west coast of the States, right on the Mexican border.
That's right.
We were based in Mexico, but then we also took that boat down to Costa Rica and right down to Panama City,
Okay.
and then all the way back up to the
Okay.
States.
So you
again.
didn't do the Panama Canal or anything?
No, we actually were in.
Pity.
We were right in the. We could see the canal
No.
and all the ships going
Okay.
in and out.
Yeah,
but
because that apparently is quite exciting.
oh, I'd love to do that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of my
Well, there you go.
dreams. There you go.
It's on
Something
the
else
to-do
to do.
list, on the bucket list.
Plan. Yeah.
And when you were still out on the high seas with Richard, did you have any experiences where you thought, man, why am I doing this?
Quite a few times.
Oh,
we
really?
had, yeah, there's quite a few times where you just think, if I make it till the next morning or to the next piece of land,
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. It's not worth it.
Really?
That's ultimately when you get there, it is. So you forget about those bad moments.
Just a cold beer and everything
That's
is
it,
solved.
yeah.
eh? And otherwise, I mean, you have no inkling to, at any stage, to be land-bound or anything. You just
No,
gonna
I did try it for a while, but it didn't work out very
Didn't
well
it
for
work?
me. No. So
Why?
I don't know. It's just I find it too restrictive, and I like to
You just got to be out there,
be on the water and
wind through the hair,
exactly. Yeah, salt in the behind the ears.
salt behind the ears, and a cold beer in the
Exactly.
hand.
That's all you need in life.
Well, that's true. I think that's a wonderful note to end off on. Sally, thank you very, very
Thank
much.
you very much.
And just go out there and enjoy.
I will.
Wonderful stuff. Cheers.
Thanks, Lynn.